do the work for us behind the scenes every day. It truly takes a village.
All right, and that note, we'll get started. We'll Tony, then Lou.
Amber, with the status of labor talks with so many free agents, with an expansion draft, do you have any idea what this offseason might even look like? And if you don't, how do you kind of...
I'll tell you about the Fevers in Indiana. The 2026 roster is unlike from anything the WNBA has ever seen, and it has already been leaked. Due to a rumored internal Fever leak organization with an outstanding team so well-stacked that it may upend the league's terrain, the rumors have turned into a roaring clatter. It goes beyond simply creating Caitlin Clark's surroundings. It entails creating a dynasty with daring, even unbelievable tactics that were meant to remain covert. But before we get into the specifics, we need to understand the scenario. The WNBA has never seen anything like this. Even the most recent dynastic attempts by Seattle or Las Vegas paled in comparison to the Mercury's dominance in the non-Sparks championship campaigns of the 2000s. It seems that the concept of Fever planning encompasses more than just standard team-building activities. It involves a complete rethinking of what is possible inside the league structure. A danger that is so great that it has the potential to either cement their legacy or turn into the most spectacular failure in the workplace. Basketball's past. For years, the Fever faithful yearned for a strong contender. Tama and other stories used to be part of the franchise. Catchings had fallen off during tough times, and there had been postseason absences, poor season-after-season performances, and watching other teams celebrate. In Indianapolis, there was a clear thirst for championships. Once one of the league's most ardent fan bases, attendance had decreased. The figures dropped. The business was at a crossroads. Rebuild slowly and swing for the fences, or take a deliberate approach. When Caitlin Clark arrived, the excitement was unheard of. Across the country, arenas sold out and delivered media. 10 years had passed since the Fever was last treated. Even the most optimistic predictions were exceeded by Clark's first season. Not just in Indianapolis, but among basketball fans around the world, three-pointers, her logo, a no-look, passes, and a rival fire spark that didn't. Merchandise sales were booming. Television viewership of the Fever games tripled. The Clark effect was tangible and transformational. Behind the scenes, though, a far more intricate project was being developed. We are talking about a covert operation, a strategy for control that was meticulously developed by Fever's front office. A plan designed to ensure a time of uncontested reign rather than a single title. Helping Clark wasn't the main goal. It was designed to create an unstoppable, undefended force. And the first part of this shocking puzzle has a name that will make many people laugh. Their skulls were scratched. Consider Sophie Cunningham, who is well known for her relentless hustle and clutch shooting, as the cornerstone of the team rather than just an additional player. Cunningham's pursuit of the 2026 free agent with the intention of matching her with direct shooting and defensive toughness through Clark's playmaking is evident from the leaked files. It's more than just a clever sign. This masterful stroke of strategy aims to create a backcoat for the Fever partnership that might change the WNBA by opening up new dimensions. Cunningham is the perfect target because of her career path. She has developed into a validated victor with Phoenix, maintaining an edge that intimidates opponents while becoming one of the league's most reliable three-point shooters. Oh, grit and experience would be good. In contrast, Clark's creative genius created a strong team. But there's more to this signing than just basketball fit. According to the leaked documents, the Fever has been subtly cultivating a relationship with Cunningham's support for people 18 and older, months, private meetings in neutral cities, unplanned dinners that appeared, and unplanned, even planned, social media interactions meant to sow seeds. The courting was executed so deftly that Phoenix's front office apparently didn't realize they were in danger of losing one of their key contributors. As I watered a maximum contract extension that would place Cunningham among the highest-paid league security staff, the financial package was allegedly made available to her. But with something even more valuable, the Fever made the trade more pleasant. A commitment to legacy. They persuaded her that Jordan would be the Klay Thompson Curry Steph and that she would be the Pippen to Clark's Batman Robin. In the WNBA's history, they promised titles in the plural and depicted a dynasty in which she played that would endure forever. The deal would also upset the league's competitive balance due to Cunningham's ability to move around. Clark would have previously unheard of workspace on the floor. Either defenses would have to deal with Clark making an impossible decision and exposing Cunningham to deadly three-pointers, or they would have to take into account Cunningham's shooting and watch how Clark analyzes it with her passing and scoring. Coaches would give you nightmares in this pick-your-pill scenario. But that was hardly the whole story. There is only one stop on the roster for the alleged Cunningham. The Fever is covetously shown by rumors. They would have unmatched supremacy in the paint if they could find another exceptional talent and an internal overwhelming power. It appears that this athlete, the current MVP, and possible 2026 contender, was courted by secret methods. The gesture was so subtle that other WNBA players' teams completely missed it. Although this player's name isn't mentioned in the materials that were made public, it may have been intentionally left out or kept intact. Code names have been used by league insiders to generate wild speculation. Is it a versatile forward who can extend the floor and protect the rim? A traditional post player who provides a tangible and is in command of the glass? What was missing from the Fever? Or perhaps a versatile player who can secure the defense and score goals at all three levels? The remuneration deal that was discussed is what the leak has revealed. We're talking about a supermax deal, the kind of contract that necessitates creative manipulation of the wage cap and perhaps star power at the sacrifice of depth. The FIA's financial staff apparently examined hundreds of scenarios, looking into every possible course of action under the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement. The numbers are correct. A gang formed for an almost excessive advantage is portrayed by the absurdity of getting a player of that caliber to Cunningham and Clark together. This would be perfect, not just a big three. A well-rounded triumph pirate that uses every aspect of the game. Excellent playmaking, defensive shooting, Cunningham's intensity and shooting from the outside, and a powerful interior are all characteristics of this mysterious celebrity. Sources claim that in addition to paying for joint ventures and ownership interests, the Fever may have offered additional incentives. Guaranteed post-set career positions within the organization, possibly aiding in the development of coaching and roster decisions. These are the kinds of guarantees that blur traditional lines in professional sports, raising concerns about unfairness in leagues and competitions. We now arrive at the motivation underlying everything. The GM of Fevers. Some may contend that it's really early to be exposed, but the alleged publicity paints a picture of a general manager who is willing to play chess with high stakes and make exceptional plays. To guarantee that these celebrities would place bets well in advance on a future in which the breach is exposed for everyone to see, the strategy employed strict cap management and perhaps even controversial promises. Only 3 years before, the general manager who took over the Fever's basketball activities was known for being an innovative thinker. An athlete turned into an executive. They understood the games and different points of view, but more importantly, they understood the modern sports industry, the value of stars and power, the necessity of market timing, and the willingness to take calculated risks that others would be scared to attempt. According to the leaked secret records, the leader obsessively studied the NBA Superteam lineups, from the Heat's to the Warriors' dynasty to the Big Three. Every time the Nets sought to form a superteam, the study yielded insights. What was effective? What didn't work? How might the WNBA's unique compensation and structure work? Is there any way to leverage the CAP? The research was comprehensive and, to some extent, scholarly. Some of the revealed, however, have a darker aspect to consider. A major violation of the league's rules that might result in heavy fines, draft loss, forced resignation, or even picks. The GM may have been influencing athletes who are still under contract with other organizations, according to correspondence. If confirmed, it would be unmistakable evidence that players were negotiated with before the permitted free agency windows. This activity shows that an executive is actively looking for a title that is ready to push the boundaries of what is feasible. This begs the question of whether this visionary is placing a risky or careless bet on the franchise's future. In addition to determining the Fever's outcome, the response may alter how aggressive front officers can operate across the league. The general manager's previous moves now resemble chess pieces being prepared for this last move. In the framework of clearing space and maintaining flexibility for this massive push in 2026, it makes sense to give away future assets, reject specific offer sheets, and make seemingly illogical roster choices all at once. The WNBA would see immediate and profound repercussions. Rival general managers are reportedly hurrying, facing the awful, and hoping that this exceptional team's promise will materialize. Calls for emergency meetings have been made. Unexpectedly, front desks that thought they were in a good position for 2026 end themselves wondering about everything. The supporters are shouting. While some criticized the development of a super squad that could upset the league's competitive balance, others were excited about the prospect of an uncontrollable fever. Social media has exploded in recent years due to conversations about competitive par. The spirit of competition more than entertainment value, and whether the WNBA should enforce stricter rules to prevent these talent concentrations. Now, every other franchise must reevaluate their entire strategy. In a few seasons, comprehending it might mean navigating a truly unparalleled juggernaut. Teams that were planning minor improvements are now considering their own violent behavior. Autonomy. Agents have used this information to boost their client values, throwing the 2025 and 2026 market into complete chaos. According to reports, the recently accomplished Liberty of New York is looking into its own retribution. Could they assemble a rival super squad to challenge its triumph? Vegas. Pedigree is reportedly expediting its own employment procedures. Seattle, Phoenix, Connecticut, and every other competitor are now frantically trying to figure out how to prevent the Fever from giving them an unfair advantage. Officials at league headquarters are facing a difficult situation. Are they able to intervene? Do they have to? For a long time, the WNBA has enjoyed a competitive balance. However, what arguments are valid if all movements are allowed by law? This super team forming office of the commissioner must be stopped. Insiders suggest heated debates over potential rule changes, but both the team owners and the players' union would need to approve any changes. The goals of the two groups are at odds. Reports indicate the television networks are overjoyed. Goliath narratives, 4 plots, and ratings reflect the possibility of a dynasty, villain stories, and David versus pure gold. A marketing campaign focused on the Fever supremacy's potential and the league's efforts to stop them is presently being planned by CBS, ESPN, and other broadcast partners. Smaller market teams are particularly terrified. When one team may have 4 or 3 players in the top 15 in the league, how can they compete for resources and attention from fans? For franchises already struggling with local attendance and television contracts, the unbalanced competition might be disastrous. And everyone would be surprised by what came next. How did these meticulously guarded blueprints manage to get away? It's a leak from an irate employee or even a rival organization that disseminates false information in an attempt to cause mayhem. Everything you were looking for from Hoop Dynamics Cunningham, Sophie.